Welcome today to our Bearcats Volleyball Virtual Clinic. Coach Kevin and myself are going to talk a little bit about some things that we feel like you could do in your own backyard. So a couple of key skills that are really important, no matter if you're a beginner in volleyball or if you're playing at the highest level. Those two skills are passing and serving. So we'll work through a couple of drills that you could do on your own or maybe with a parent or a sibling in your backyard to make sure that you're at least getting some touches and kind of staying in contact with the volleyball. It's really important, I think, when you think about volleyball and skill set and not being able to be in the gym for so long, and I think Coach Kevin would agree, is touch on the ball is one of those things that goes away most quickly. So if you're used to passing and going to practice a couple of days a week, or even more than that, if you're used to serving a couple of days a week, when you haven't passed or served in a long time, that touch on the ball and your confidence in making those contacts could really struggle a little bit. So we want to offer some opportunities to be able to work on those skills in your backyard, so when you do have an opportunity to get back in the gym, you're feeling as confident as you can stepping foot on the court.
Kevin Carroll here, assistant coach women's volleyball at Cincinnati. As Coach Alvey just mentioned, we're here to help you find some activities that you can do in your own backyard at your own home to just stay fresh and have that, or keep that touch on the volleyball. So what we have right here is just looks like a standard net that you would, serve, kick, hit golf balls into, hit baseballs into. And today we're just going to use it as a backdrop just to hit some balls into. So we're going to work with serving first. One of the things that I think is really important in starting off with the whole volleyball process and your serve is hand contact. So what I'm really going to work on right now is first is my toss. I'm going to toss it up on my right shoulder because I want to be up, straight up and down, like a football player, like a baseball player. You don't see a lot of pitchers curved. You don't see a lot of quarterbacks curved like this. So one thing I'm going to work on is toss it up on my right shoulder and have a solid hand contact right in the middle of the ball. So I like to focus on this part of my hand right here, and you can hear that too. So when I smack it, you hear a good solid contact. If I hit with my fingers, can you hear that? There's not a lot of noise, so that means it's going to be a little, not as tough, not as strong. So again, strong, solid hand contact, toss it up, and hit it into the net. Again, I'm going to toss it up, solid hand contact, toss on my right shoulder, into the net. I don't know if you can hear that, but I actually keep hitting it with my bottom of my hand right here, so you don't really hear that good solid hand contact, so I'm going to keep working on that. Up, there you go. So you can do that 10-15 times, toss it up on your right shoulder, work on that hand contact. So right now, I'm going to work something that's really important for us in beginners and when you're starting to play volleyball in your beginning stages is your toss for your serve. We really focus on having that toss on your right shoulder if you're a righty, left shoulder if you're a lefty. We say that because we want you to be straight up and down, have a strong core, strong shoulders, and it also helps with your accuracy as well. So here I am, I'm just going to toss up with one hand. I'm going to toss it up and let it drop, and let's just see where it lands. We'll see if that's a good toss or not. So I toss it up here, out in front of me, a little to my left, so I would say that's not a good toss. Not bad, but not the best. Again, I'm going to toss it up, hand already loaded for the serve, up. That's a little better. It's on my right side, so when I step into it, I'm straight up and down. If I toss it over my head or over to the left, I'm gonna have to adjust myself, and I'm not gonna be straight up and down. I'll be over a little arced, leaning, and then my accuracy goes down. So again, I'm gonna toss it up, step in. That's a good toss. It's on my right shoulder. So now we're gonna move on to our net right here. I'm gonna toss on my right shoulder, step into it, and fire it right into the net, working on my standing serve. Starting position, I have my arm loaded, hand out, tossing hand out, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna toss, step, transfer my weight, and step into the ball. Toss, step, hand contact. Hand out, left foot forward, stop, test, hand contact. Really work on that toss, and also you can see, I don't know if it's the grass or if it's me, I'm kind of leaning to my left a little bit, so I don't know if that's the toss or the angle of the mound, but let's see. Left side, there we go, that's way better. Toss was on my right shoulder, solid hand contact, stepped right into it. All right, now progressing from the standing floats, something that we are also going to work on is our approach. So we're gonna do more of a topspin kind of toss, and then we're just gonna go left, right, left. So we're gonna work on that step close. So right here is a 3-step approach. Some people have a 3-step, some have a 4-step. The 4-step might be a little more complicated. So right now we're just gonna focus on the 3-step approach. I'm gonna have my left foot forward. I'm gonna toss with my right hand. Again, I'm gonna toss it up and have it land on my right shoulder. And then I'm gonna go left, and then a big right, left. So a fast step close. So it's gonna be a big, bigger than a fast close. So you wanna get your feet as tight as you can. So I'm having my left foot out, right arm out. So again, with your toss, we're not looking to go bowling here. We wanna keep it out right here. I think if you bring it all the way back here and throw it up, you lose accuracy. So I like to keep it out about 90. Step and toss, step close, and swing and follow through. And another important, I would say, key to the step close and to the approach is how you finish. So you see, again, I'll go back to the baseball players and quarterbacks and softball players. So when softball players are throwing the ball, you see them, they're not throwing it and stopping here. They're not throwing it and coming off by their side. They're using their whole body, their whole hips and their shoulders. They have their right hip back and they throw and follow through. So that's what I'm gonna focus on as well when I'm doing this toss. So left, right, left, and follow through. So again, left foot forward, right arm out, about 90, step and toss, step close, and follow through.
Okay, so now we'll talk a little bit about ball control and just getting your arms contact, on the volleyball when you really may not have a net, you may not have somebody to play with, may not have somebody to pepper with. So one easy thing that you can do, and probably do for hours, right? Kevin probably do this for hours, is just a little bit of ball control with one volleyball and your own arms. So what we think is really important, it's the touch on the volleyball that helps you in passing defense. And really the only way to build that touch is just lots of reps, lots and lots and lots of reps. Reps build confidence, reps help you learn more about the game and really more about your body and what you need to do in order to make the ball to go the right direction. So you may not necessarily have someone to serve at you. You may not have somebody be able to hit balls at you, but you can do a lot of contacts on your own with just having a volleyball and a little bit of space in your backyard. So one thing we'll ask Kevin to do right now is he could just pass to himself, just straight up and down pass to himself, just to get some contacts, making sure that he's contacting the volleyball in a good spot on his forearms, right? In between his wrist and just below his elbow, good solid contact, just to get a feel for the ball. That's all this is. He's not angling, working on angles, trying to put the ball in any specific spot. Stop, good. There's hundreds of variations of this. So let's say we could just do something a little bit more simple with a little right left. So he's just gonna really put the ball on his right forearm, his left forearm, right forearm, left forearm. Good, you can stop. Okay, so you could progress that. You could pass to yourself. You could right forearm, left forearm. Pass to yourself, right forearm, left forearm. Look, after 6 quick contacts, he's already getting more control. Okay, good. Okay, you could pass to yourself and set some. So it's not just about your platform, but you could also use your hands in setting. So we could do a little pass set. Good, stop. So we could talk a little bit about angles too when we do this. In order for Kevin to make this ball go straight up when he passes, he needs to have his platform almost parallel to the ground so that where the ball contacts his arms is the trajectory in which it's gonna go. So as he brings his platform up, then he will be able to pop that ball straight up in the air to himself. Okay, when we play on the court, we're not necessarily popping the ball straight up to ourselves, but this at least gives us a little bit of body control just to work on putting the ball in a specific spot. So he's putting this ball in a specific spot on his body. When he goes to set, he's making sure that he has big full hands so that all 10 fingers contact the ball, maybe just a little bit on the pinky, not as much, but the pads of his fingers are gonna touch the ball slightly. And he's gonna make sure that all 10 are on there and that if he were to drop that ball, it would hit him somewhere in his forehead. right? Not too low on the chin, not too far back behind the head so we don't have control, but right over that forehead so we have the most control with our hands, the most control with our shoulders and our chest. And then he'll use his legs to push that ball straight up in the air. Similarly, what we were talking about with the platform and passing, Kevin will be able to just extend his arms straight up in the air to make that ball go straight up, right? If I'm setting one of my attackers, I probably would stretch my arms out towards the area where I'm setting. Okay, but for right now, we'll just work on a pass set, platform straight up, arms under and extending all the way through that ball for setting. Nice, strong hands, good. Okay, so in the drill that we just did, if you notice, Kevin was passing to himself. So in order to pass the ball to himself, he has to use his platform to force the ball to go where he wants it to go. In order to make that ball go straight up, he would have to move his arms parallel to the ground so that as the ball hits off his platform, it goes straight up in the air. Okay, so if we were to relate this to volleyball on the court, angles are the single most important aspect of passing and to be most successful passer in the game of volleyball. So if I were to toss to Kevin in close distance and we just work on platform, think you could do this against a wall, you could do this against the side of your house, maybe if you have a wall in your basement that you could pass against, maybe not in your bedroom or in the living room of your home so you don't drive your parents crazy, okay? But you could work on angles just like this as close as we are. So now Kevin will change his platform in order to get that ball to come to me. His angle and his shoulders will drop a little bit. So his shoulders are always gonna be out over his hips and over his knees, and his arms will be away from his body so that there's a little bit of space created from the armpit and the center torso of your body. Okay, so he'll step and pass this ball right back to me. Nice pass, Kev. Nice. Okay. Good. If you notice too, he transfers his weight forward in the direction that he wants the ball to go. And let's take a look at how he's holding his hands, because I think this is really important. Okay? So it doesn't matter, you can go right inside of left, you can go left inside of right. What's most important is that we want this really smooth surface. Okay? We don't want to cross our thumbs over. So if Kevin crosses his thumbs over, look at all these bumpy spots it could hit. Right? If he were to close his knuckles, right, it makes it harder to have a smoother flat platform up here. Okay, so we want to just make sure that our hands come together, nice and smooth, and we point those thumbs down to give us a nice, flat as possible surface so that we know when the ball hits here exactly what direction it's going to go. Okay, so let's do one different angle. Let's say Kevin stands here and I'm going to toss from this direction. The only thing that he's gonna change is the angle of his platform. So his right shoulder will dip in, his arms are still away from his body, so he has that space in between his armpits and the rest of his body. And he's just gonna pick this angle so that he pops the ball over to me. Nice. Right shoulder dips, arms stay away from the body. There's little movement with the arms and lots of transferring of weight with the feet. Nice, excellent job. Okay, so we talked about just contact on the ball and being comfortable going back in the gym after being off for a long time. Another thing that we feel like is really important to get back in the gym is the jumping aspect, right? We don't jump as much off the court as we do on the court when we get back in and we're playing during our seasons. So it would be really, really wonderful to get some jumps in before you head back into the gym for any sort of practice or training, just to get your legs feeling good, your quads, your glute muscles firing. As we feel like one of the most successful things that we've done is really staying healthy with our legs and with jumping. And of course, the only way to get better at jumping is to jump. You know, you can lift weights and you can train. You can do agility exercises, which are all wonderful bases and helping. But really, in order to increase your vertical and to get better at jumping, you have to jump. So there's a couple simple exercises you can do in your backyard we think are really easy. Kevin's gonna show us just a little bit of some block touches. So you could do as simple or as advanced as you want. This is my biggest suggestion in jumping. When you go to do your jumps, find a wall that you're comfortable with. look up and see where you can jump touch, and then find one space just about an inch to an inch and a half out of your jump range that you're aiming for to touch. Okay, so it'll help you jump just a little bit harder to reach that spot, and then you'll know once you get closer to that spot, or maybe even touch that spot, that you've really increased your jump and you can move your goal touch spot a little bit higher. Okay, so Kevin's goal just out of reach of him is the top of the wood of the patio here. So as he does his block jumps, he can just do stationary right now, maybe one step to the right, one step to the left for little quick jumps, and just try to reach the top of that wood. Nice, so the top of the wood is barely out of his reach. So if he jumps as hard as he can to get as close, well, he got it already. No. So if he jumps as hard as he can and just makes that his goal to reach the top, then he will definitely increase his vertical over time. Nice, quick block step to the right, one shuffle step to the left. Good, really nice. Okay, so we could progress the block jumping as well. You could do stationary, simple shuffle steps, one shuffle step to the left, one shuffle step to the right. We could also do a little bit more advanced block jumps against the wall with a lead crossover hop. So when Kevin moves to his right to go make a blocking move, he's gonna step with his right foot, big step, cross over with his left, and then bring the right foot, hips and shoulders back around squared to the wall, or in our case, the top of the porch that he's reaching for. Okay, so let's do that. Nice. Good and balanced on his landing, so he's not flying past the blocking slot that he needs to block. Really nice. Really nice. Okay, so you could create all kinds of blocking patterns. You could do approach jumps against the wall to increase your vertical on your approach jump. There's so many different varieties that you could do and really improve your volleyball game just by getting some jumps in. The important thing to remember about blocking, I think as volleyball players, sometimes we get caught up in that we have to have a stuff block on blocking. And blocking is a lot more than that. A stuff block would be great, right? Because that's an automatic point for us and our team. But there's two other ways that we feel like are really important in blocking, and just working on simple footwork and good body control can help you do these other two things. One is touch or slow down the ball so that the defenders have a better opportunity to go play the ball up to your setter. And the third thing is to be able to have good body control, pick the right spot to block, and funnel the ball to your best defenders. Those are the three outcomes that you'd like to have from blocking. Stuff block, touch or slow down the ball, or number three, funnel the volleyball to one of your best defenders. All right, thank you so much for your time. Hopefully we'll get an opportunity to see you all in the fall back at Fifth Third Arena for our matches. We'll see how everything turns out, and we appreciate you watching.
Thank you.